I have my insurance broker with me, Moya. Moya, please introduce yourself.
Hey Shalon, thank you for having me. I'm Moya True and I'm from Chancellor Insurance Agency.
Yes. So I asked my followers, do you have any questions? And listen, you saw the amount of questions that.
Yes,
Right.
like 20?
Just 18, 17.
Right.
So without further ado, we're gonna jump right in because I want to get as many as possible. So it says, can I get health insurance for myself if my employer doesn't offer it? What's the cost and the procedure?
Alright, so of course, group insurance is what you get from your company, but there's also what's called individual health insurance. And there are so many options out there right now, especially, depending on what we can attach you to. So you can get individual health insurance as low as $4,900 monthly.
I know that one, 5,000 per month. I just rounded it up to 5,000 per month.
Okay.
Alright, cool. And what's the procedure
To apply?
yeah.
Alright, so the completion of the application form, your signature, premium payments, we will need your ID of course, TRN and proof of address.
So it's pretty standard.
Pretty standard.
Okay, and when it's time to claim, how long will the process take?
Alright, so from company to company it might vary, but a claim can be processed with all the particulars there in as little as 2 weeks. Now, if something is missing, the claim can, obviously be processed outside of that 2-week period.
Okay.
Right.
Why isn't DCIS considered critical illness?
Alright, so the first thing that I would have to say, I know cancer can be a scary word, but not all cancers are life-threatening.
Okay.
Alright, so DCIS, it may not be covered because that particular cancer, and please revert to your brochure and contract, is not life-threatening.
It's non-invasive.
It's non-invasive and it's not malignant, just like skin cancer.
Okay. So that's fine. Alright. And best options. So I think we covered this already. It was best options for self or informal insurance.
Yes.
So you're saying they have individual insurance and they need to just find a broker and see with them.
Exactly. But when you say best options for self, obviously not every option might be right for you. You might utilize this particular set of benefits, this person the next. So we're going to recommend, what you would utilize most and something that you can afford.
Okay, and I want to kind of break off from the question Jansen said. This is where it's extremely important to have a good broker.
Exactly.
Someone that can explain things to you,
Right.
which is why, I have one. So when I found out that my diagnosis was positive, that it was malignant, I called her and she kind of just, I think the job of the broker is to kind of take that stress off the patient or the client, right? So that's what she did for me. And the insurance wasn't so open at first and you were just like...
Right. And I'm glad that I could have assisted you the way I did. But for any new health plan that you come on, there is what is called a waiting period.
Right.
And this applies to all health insurance companies. It doesn't matter who.
Some 6 months, some
a
1
year.
year. Right?
Exactly. So in your case, it was 6 months. Now, what that means is that any pre-existing condition for treatment or surgery would not be honored until that 6-month period is satisfied.
Right.
However, if a condition is new, with the reports, something from your doctor, we're able to get around that 6-month waiting period so that you can get the treatment, the coverage that you need.
Right, but this is where the experience of the broker comes in. Because you were able to spot that, send it to get the letters from the doctor, whatever, and that, put the time stamp on everything and get the coverage, right? So you can't broker can't fool. Anyways, that's my question. Best options for those with pre-existing conditions.
Alright, so good question. So with the pre-existing conditions, we're going to look at the severity of the case. Now, if it's something like cancer, you would have to be 7 years cancer-free before we can take you on. However, if you come on the plan healthy and you are diagnosed subsequently, you have the coverage for life as long as you keep up with your premium payments.
Okay. That was very good. I found that out today. I was very good because I was like, are you guys gonna kick me off after you pay?
No,
She was like, no.
no. And also, there are other pre-existing conditions like hypertension, diabetes.
Mm-hmm.
These persons can also access coverage.
Okay. What should you, this is a question I think a lot of people are not sure about. What should you look out in regards for when you're insurance shopping? What are some key things that you need to look out for?
All right, so key benefits that I always look for in any health plan, whether it's for me or for someone else, are what is the prescription drug coverage like?
Right.
What is the office visit coverage like? Lab and x-ray. What is your major medical? And that is very important because the major medical is what you access. You can access your drugs, labs, treatment, surgery.
Okay.
Yeah, so you would want an annual major medical preferably, one that rolls over and renews each and every year for you.
Okay. Alright, so like what's a good prescription coverage? I mean for me it's 100%, but we're not going to get that. So what's a good prescription?
Alright, so we have the next best section. It's called unlimited, which would entitle you to 80% coverage.
80, right?
Right.
Yeah. Okay, great. So just because you're not really can say what's good, but like so that I have a marker point. Like, can I upgrade my life insurance to include health insurance?
Alright, so life insurance on its own does not generally include health insurance, which would entitle you to having a health card. However, there are health plans out there that bundle life attached to it. So you're able to look for a health plan which has a little life insurance attached at a nominal cost.
Okay. And someone said, which is I think is a pretty obvious answer, but why don't they make the actual items covered easier for customers to understand?
Alright, so yeah, sometimes I wish that for me, right, to interpret it for you.
Right.
Yeah, so I think looking at health brochures and contracts, they're pretty much drafted in a standard way, and obviously capture the legal requirements that the contract/brochure should have. So it's for your agent, your very prudent agent, to sit you down and explain all of those insurance principles to you so that you can understand it.
Can you explain coverage limits and how important that is in critical illness coverage?
All right. So coverage limits are important. Now, you as the client, you're able to look at the coverage amounts, whether it's 1 million, 3 million, or 5 million. What do you need? Yes, your agent can help you to do a needs assessment, in terms of what you might be afraid of getting, God forbid. But yeah, so you look at the coverage amount. What does, medical treatment for this cost? For cancer treatment, it can be 2 to 3 million. 5 to 6. All right. So, go for maximum coverage if you can afford it.
Right.
If not, try and meet that point halfway.
Are mental and menstrual illnesses covered? What chronic illnesses are not? So I think that's policy specific, right?
Yes, that would be policy specific. It's for you and your agent if you have one. If not, you can talk to us to go through the specifics. What is this policy covering? Each policy might cover something different. This might be limited. This one might give you, it might be a more fulsome policy. Now, yes, mental as well as menstrual illnesses are covered under your health insurance.
Okay. So see, it is. So there is coverage for mental illness.
Right, mental and menstrual.
Yeah?
Yes.
I didn't know that. A lot of major illnesses like critical illness, does insurance cover major illnesses like cancer?
Yes. All right. So those major illnesses would be covered under your major medical, which is why it's very important for you to look at that amount on the health plan that you're being offered, because you want to know that you have enough to pull from should something happen.
Right.
And it's even better when your major medical, as I said before, is an annual one, because it will renew each and every year for you.
Okay. You've been a good sport answering all these questions, Moya.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. And always answer, I'm gonna call you like, how does this work? But I want to. Do you have any horror stories? Any like anything? Any outlandish thing?
All right. So yes, I'm sure I was scared just as much as a client in this regard. It was a case almost similar to yours. However, it was one of my male clients that reached out to me to say, you know, I think my wife may have been diagnosed with cancer before she was actually diagnosed. You know, so immediately with that, I prompted him to, you know, send me the reports, you know, leading up to that diagnosis so that we can get around that 6-month waiting period. And in this particular case, Shalana, I won't lie, he got the approval whilst his wife was in the surgical room.
Yeah, you guys, they like to do that because I think I was like at the hospital before they said, yeah.
Yes.
The hospital kept saying, no, I'm sorry, it's declined. I was like, no, Moya said it's not. They're like, I was like, Moya said, them are gonna cover it. And they're like, who is Moya? I was like, listen, check it again. I'm on the phone with Moya, like, hello, Moya.
Yes.
Can't even shame.
So I was in the middle of a presentation when, you know, prior to getting their approval, I ran straight to the provider and I'm like, what is happening? You know, so when I called the client and I advised him, you know, it has been approved, don't worry. I could hear the sigh in his voice.
Listen, the weight that takes off you, because people don't understand. Like I keep telling them that, say, oh, insurance is expensive, it's expensive. I'm like, yo, it's not expensive when you're sick. Because when you get sick, you're just like, thank God for health insurance. And I showed them the receipt. I showed them the receipt for the hormone therapy that I have to take for a year. And every 3 weeks is when I have to take it. And every 3 weeks is 1.8 million.
No, average that off.
Right?
For the rest of the year.
For a year.
Yes.
And insurance covers 80%. And they have a patient assistance program from the distributor for 20%. So by the grace of God, we don't have to pay anything. But if I didn't have health insurance, and that patient assistance program only assists you if the insurance covers the 80.
Exactly.
So you don't get that
want to
20.
be.
So you know when you start looking at it, and people are like, oh my gosh, I'm like, you guys think this is a joke thing? Look at $5,000 out of your paycheck every month. It really makes sense.
It goes a long way.
Yeah.
It does.
It really does. And we're talking about because we didn't get it in time for the surgery, but thank God we got the coverage in time for the treatment and everything from that. So guys, take it from me, health insurance is very important, and if you want it, you can go to Moya True at Chancellor Broadcast, right?
Yes.
Right. And you're going to I'll put her email at the bottom, not the phone number, because some women are crazy. We'll put her email at the bottom so you can email her and ask her anything.
So if there, you know, wasn't any question that was answered, you can more than reach out to me. I'd be happy to assist.
Okay, right. Thank you so much, Moya.
Thank you so much, Shalana, for having me.
She's so busy and she took out her lunch. Thank you very much.
Anytime.
Alright. Bye guys. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And get your insurance.